Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. Now I know it's been a while since I've put a video out. I've just had a lot going on just in my personal life with work and some family stuff going on, so I apologize it's been such a long time. But we're back today. We're down here in Niagara Falls for Storm the Falls, the annual big car show. This is volume 6. This is my first time ever actually at this show. You'd think I would have been here before with all the times I've been down to Niagara Falls for all kinds of other stuff that's been car related. So I've already been inside quickly just to get a walk around, kind of get a feel for what's going on in there. Found a couple friends' cars waiting to see when some friends show back up. But yeah, we're here at the Niagara Convention Center, kind of just right here. The falls are just over that way. Of course, they have all the hotels in front of us here as well. So yeah, not really going to be any plan or anything for the video. Just going to go in, walk around. I'll show you guys everything there is to see. I've already seen a couple cool things. I'm sure there's some more stuff that I already missed doing my quick walk around. But yeah, that's where we are today, so let's go in, check it out, and if you guys have never been to Storm the Falls before, enjoy the video. Right off the bat, we have a couple of display cars outside. So we have 1972 Mazda RX-2 right here, which looks awesome. Looks like it's very, very well preserved. Of course, we have the Buick Regal GNX, which has become a bit more famous recently with Kendrick Lamar. You know, the whole Kendrick and Drake thing. Of course, this car was used in the video, and of course at the Super Bowl performance, and also in the opening scene from Fast and Furious 4. And yeah, these things are just sweet. I feel like these are starting to get a bit more recognition and a bit more hype around them now than they ever did in the past. So always cool to see one of these. And again, this one looks super clean, super very well kept for. I'm guessing it's more just a show car than maybe an actual drive around. We have the stock car here, obviously with the big motor in the front, fully stripped out, of course, because race car. Obviously you have your fuel filler there, and then again just basically gas tank and everything in the back. Not much to it, again, because race car, but I'm guessing this thing competes in like the Canadian NASCAR series, but cool. And of course, gotta love the number. Okay, so then we can head on into the actual show, where we're greeted by obviously a huge display of one very big room here. And yeah, let's just kind of do a quick walk around and see what there is. Obviously we're greeted by the C8 right here. I've seen a couple of these around. We have the Hummer EV behind. We have this crazy hot rod. I'm not really sure what it is. We have like a BRZ or an 86 or an FRS right there with a massive turbo in the front, and of course 2JZ swapped, which looks awesome. And of course, guys, as always, when you come to a car show with vehicles that aren't your own, please do not touch the cars, except for sure we're going to go and touch our friends' cars later, just because I already know those people. But yeah, don't come to a car show and touch cars unless you already asked permission from the owner or someone else who's around the vehicles. So, a bit more info on this thing. So it's a 46 Chevy 1500, full hot rod but full drag build. You can see maybe the parachute in the back. We'll go check it out. But yeah, I don't know exactly what kind of motor it's running, but yeah, it looks like this thing makes a decent amount of power. Of course, these things don't really weigh very much, and it's basically stripped out. Like essentially you have a couple of seats and a chassis strapped to an engine in here. You can see kind of stripped out interior, bare floor. Basically the only sort of cloth you have is on the seats on the inside there. Then you come to the back, you have all your cooling and fuel tank and everything. Of course, a bit of a roll cage. Obviously slick tires, looks like, you know, fat ones on the back, skinniest on the front. And as I mentioned, you have the parachute at the back, so that's how you know that this thing is a serious dragster, when you have a parachute at the back to be able to slow this thing down. Of course, we've seen this Civic a few times. It's one we kind of know well from, I guess, from the channel, and I know well from different meets, but always cool to see. I love the graphics there underneath the hood. Pretty cool. And of course, the Lambo doors on your Civic Coupe, because why not? Obviously wide body on airbags, slammed right down to the ground. Nice carbon fiber, and they're full carbon fiber on the dash. Maybe something I might look to do in my car in future, but obviously I have the carbon wheel and everything as well. Really cool. See, and then obviously we have some more graphic stuff in the back. You can see there obviously the controls for the air ride, and even the funky design over the rear lights and on the exhaust tips as well. One more quick look at the Hummer EV here. This one, the pickup truck one. Of course, they have the Hummer EV SUV now as well. And I don't know, these things are just kind of cool. I mean, like, you guys already know I'm not the biggest fan of electric vehicles, but I feel like something like this would be pretty cool and honestly pretty menacing to be in going down the road. I feel like no one's gonna mess with you, and it's still a Hummer, so it's kind of cool in that right. So I'm gonna try to talk into the mic so we don't get the music so much behind us, but we have an M5 competition here. This looks awesome, kind of in the dark gray paint color. Obviously the legalized yellow tinted headlights. Nice. M3 beside it, we have these slammed here 370Z with, I like the blue wheels, obviously pink wrap on it, and a massive wing on the rear. We'll come take a look at that quickly. It's a massive wing on the back. Love the diffuser on the back, the Street Aero diffuser and the whole body kit around. This thing is actually pretty cool. Have an M2 here with a massive NOS tank in the back. So yeah, maybe don't mess with this guy on the roads. Otherwise pretty clean, of course. Carbon fiber actually looks like a, unless it's tinted, and maybe like a carbon Kevlar, just like a tinted carbon for the front fenders here, and then carbon fiber on the hood, and then the same sort of tinted carbon fenders on the other side as well. And in the blue, of course, which I love. Oh, with the underglow underneath, I just noticed. Very nice touch. Another BMW M2 over here, and M4 convertible. Over on this side, I guess this is the Euro Club. We'll go around the other side in a second, check out the rest, but let's keep going on the line. We have, of course, a Mitsubishi Evo here, a Lancer, with, yeah, a very much not so standard engine setup in here. Mazda 3 hatch. This one was cool, again, like the little graphics, all like the sort of Japanese samurai nods, the cherry blossoms over there, some more cherry blossoms on this side. Nice little touch in there. Of course, this thing is also wide-bodied, slammed down to the ground on air. We have another Mazda 3, or Mazda Speed 3 hatch here with an insane setup in the back. There's also, of course, full roll cage and stuff in there as well. You can see all the working components for the air system. And much as it looks cool, I love also the setups for like all the air management system in the back of cars, because they're just as much an art piece as well as being sort of functional and looking cool on the outside. Love to see this setup. Then we have something similar if we come back to the red car for a second. We got the flash right there, and again you can see sort of the acrylic whatever Mazda logo, which is lit up in the middle, and again speakers set up, and there's all the wiring and everything for the air suspension. And if you guys like exhaust tips, we've come to the right place. Those things stick out pretty aggressively, but also kind of look pretty cool, again with the super aggressive rear diffuser. Same over here on this one, not as quite aggressive tips, very large tips, not as quite as aggressive sticking out, but still pretty cool to see. There's a little Euro lineup on this side, so we have the XJ SV12 over there. We have the Mercedes GTC SLS Roadster. Obviously the C7 Z06 here. Camaro here, which is definitely not standard. You can see there the LSX, obviously with a very, very worked on engine. Looks amazing. Old Chevy C10 on this side. Let's flip back over here. We have the Tesla, which I have to admit, I hate Teslas, but this one actually looks kind of cool. Still probably wouldn't drive it, but at least it looks kind of cool. Kind of the serial killer movie theme on there. Another Evo here. Then we have this slammed, a nice wide body Hellcat. I think we've seen this vehicle a few times before. Actually, no, it's not a Hellcat, just the regular Challenger, but still looks super awesome here with the wide body. The slammed, you can see there, it's kind of the original interior, but obviously big Hemi V8 up front. Looks awesome, sounds awesome, and goes pretty quickly. So I want to come back and single out this car for a second because it's not something you see in North America really at all. So you might recognize the badge on the front. So this is a Vauxhall Insignia Country Tourer. So essentially like your like kind of luxury family like sedan for cruising around, daily driving. It's got these sick wheels on it. Obviously we can see it's lowered, basically slammed down to the ground. Very, very long car, again, like kind of your luxury grand touring vehicle. Of course, we can see the air suspension in the back, pretty much basically just stock interior, so obviously you still have all the comfort and everything in there. And I think the cool factor for this is just the fact that you don't see these cars in North America. Like, they were never actually sold here. They're part of this group, so you know, Vauxhall, GM, and Opel. But these specific ones, the Vauxhalls, were never sold in the North American market. So the only way, obviously, to get one here is to import it, bring it in. So yeah, this objectively could be one of the cooler cars at the show. Just again, as I said, based on the fact that you don't actually really get these things here. And even the other brands which are associated with it, the cars are very different for the North American market than in the European or UK or even Australian market where Vauxhalls exist. So yeah, really cool to see this, and I really dig the wheel design. And of course, we have some familiar cars here. Of course, we have fellow 10 Gen Club president, Flashy Keys, here with his insane new build. So he's wrapped it purple this year. He's absolutely slammed it down on air ride. You can see his setup in the back here. Of course, the big wing and all the purple accents over it. So this is awesome. Again, we've seen this car many times on our channel before, and we'll see it for obviously a long time. Fellow 10 Gen member. We have another member here, Prenz, with his awesome Civic Coupe. Again, the cool underglow. So yeah, a couple of familiar cars over here. You have to come and check out this Ram. You guys already know I love my Ram. Obviously, this thing, again, slammed down to the ground. That lovely Longhorn interior, so no, the kind of the higher end luxury truck. And then, of course, as with a lot of cars here, obviously slammed down on air ride. And I guess there's some photos of what it looked like originally. And then, of course, this is what we are working with now. This guy is too cool for, I don't know, for us, for his car, but this is obviously cool. Slammed wide body Genesis, obviously with Stance Nation happening in the rear there. Another BMW 435i. This Mitsubishi is insane. Obviously, clear hood and everything. Obviously, engine worked on. And then we have the Looney Tunes wrap, which is super cool on this. And even in the door jambs and everything, we have Looney Tunes in there, carbon fiber all on the dash there, the driver's console, racing harnesses, the back. And yeah, this thing is super cool. We have another Civic here wrapped in purple. I believe this is another 10 Gen Club member, or at least friend of the club. Pretty cool. Del Sol there. Got this Lancer here with sort of the livery mimicking that from Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Pretty awesome to see. We have another friend's car over here. We have Steven's car, his SI K24 swap, obviously with the thick Mickey Thompson drag tires on the front there. You see his fully built car, which I know from experience hearing this thing sounds amazing. Hopefully one day I'll get him to take me out for a ride or for a rip down the track in this thing. Since the theme here has been cars lowered, slammed on air ride. Look at the setup back here. Again, as I was saying, Stance Nation happening at the back here with these super deep dish wheels. I mean, you can kind of see, like, I'm just floating my hand in there, but like I'm not even touching the actual spokes. Yeah, it's probably a solid, I don't know, 5-6 inches. This thing is sweet over here. 31 Ford Model A, full hot rod build. You guys want to know what's been done to it? I will put this here. You guys can pause the video right now and take a look at everything that's been done to the car. We can come back here and obviously take a look at it. You can see all the awards and accolades that this car has received, and I would say rightly so. It looks absolutely beautiful. I'm sure it drives nicely as well, and I'm sure it sounds awesome. Yeah, you can see how tiny the interior was from back in the 1930s. Basically, you didn't really have much. A little bit of a dashboard, wheel, and 2 seats. And then cool back, and I'm pretty sure this is either a trunk or the old flip-out seats. We have a second C8 here with the Lambo doors, which I know kind of the whole Lambo doors thing is kind of overplayed and doesn't work on some supercars, but I think with the styling of the C8 and how so many people feel like this car punches ahead of where it really is, and like a lot of people, especially with the red ones, you know, you take one look at it, you think, oh, it's a Ferrari or something, or maybe even like a Lamborghini. I think styling wise this actually does kind of work, and I think if, you know, Chevy actually decided to ever put doors like this on a C8 or some future model like with this design language, I think it actually does kind of work. Maybe not the most practical on a car like this, but hey, I mean, Lambo doors are always cool, and if, of course, if you can't afford an Aventador or something, this is the next best thing. Another classic here right beside it, 1938 Ford Coupe, so kind of cool. Like very, very original, early sort of American muscle, modern American muscle. Obviously 2 different brands, but you can see this is kind of how it started, how it's going. And obviously the 31 over there as well. Kind of cool that you have sort of the modern American, no muscle, American powered car kind of sandwiched in between kind of really OGs, a 1931 Ford, a 1938 Ford, and like a 2020 plus car right here. Okay, so there's still a bunch of cars to get to, and my battery is starting to run low, and you can hear the music in the background. So we're just gonna basically do a quick run through of everything else that's still in the show before my battery dies here, and then we'll do a quick intro, and then that'll probably be it for the video.